Non-permissible values of x. What can x not be?
Positive 2.
Positive 2? How do you know that?
Because on the third translation it is x minus 2 in the denominator.
Yeah, right? The denominator can't equal 0. That's how we find non-permissible values, right? Sorry, let me go over here. Non-permissible values of x. To find those, we just take the denominator, which is x minus 2, and say it can't equal 0, right? And then solve for x. We've done this before. So x can't be 2. The behavior near the non-permissible value. So here's the value of 2 for x. What's kind of happening with the graph here?
Nothing there.
Well, there's nothing there, but what is the graph kind of doing as it approaches 2 from the left and the right? It's running away again, right? Going into positive and negative infinity. Okay. End behavior. See if you remember what I said from the last example. When I ask you about end behavior, what am I asking?
What is it when x approaches 0, when y approaches 0?
No. It's not when anything approaches 0. It's what happens when the graph, when x becomes really, really large, both in this direction and this direction.
It goes to infinity.
What does the value of y tend towards? What does it equal as it grows really, really large? Yeah, it goes towards the asymptote, but the question is, what is the horizontal asymptote? It's not 0 anymore because we cross.
It's 3, negative 3.
Negative 3? How do you know?
You went down 3, you shifted the whole graph down.
Yeah, right? This transformation, right here, took the entire graph, just 1 over x, and moved it down 3. It brought the asymptote with it. The asymptote used to be y equals 0. It brought it down to y equals negative 3. Right? You can also think about that for the vertical asymptote. It used to be x equals 0. This transformation brought it 2 to the right. So our vertical asymptote is x equals 2. Right? So the end behavior as x becomes really large is y tends towards negative 3. Right? It starts to approach that asymptote. Since we're talking about those, maybe it's just good to fill them in right now. This again should say horizontal. So this should be vertical asymptote is x equals 2. Horizontal asymptote is y equals negative 3. And then domain and range really quick. We can do that based on our asymptotes. Domain, x can't be 2. And it's a real number. Range, y can't be negative 3. Also a real number. So you get the idea of the graphing part, hopefully by now. There's a couple different ways to do it, but yeah, asymptotes can move around with the transformations.